Hey guys, what is going on? Veldecay here. Got another video for you guys today. It's been a little while since we've done a discussion video, so I thought it'd be a good time to dust one off and throw it up on YouTube. So, in this video, we're gonna be talking about the state of mages in Battle for Azeroth, with 8.1 being on the horizon, you know, coming out probably late November-ish. I thought it'd be a good time to talk about where mages are at so far in the expansion. We're gonna talk about PvE stuff. We're gonna talk about PvP stuff, and we're gonna start off with the PvE stuff. Now, I'm not a mythic raider. I'm not a hardcore raider. I'm going off of what I know from my experiences in PvE on these points. So, first on the list, we've got good CC. Mages have polymorph, and snares every once in a while probably help in dungeons and stuff. Probably help group up things for the tanks to grab, things like that. Um, so they've got pretty good CC, definitely helps. Next on the list, we've got decent damage. Now, I use the word decent because mages aren't bottom of the barrel and they're not top tier. They're above middle of the pack, roughly. But I mean, if you've played a mage for years and you're really good at playing a mage, then obviously you're gonna blow the charts up anyway. So it's nothing to worry about, nothing to be alarmed about. Uh, they're definitely in a pretty good spot. Third on the list, we've got Arcane Intel. Now, why would I say Arcane Intel? Well, I mean, it gives you 10% intel. It was added back in Battle for Azeroth. It gives us another cool class thing. But the 10% intel helps a lot. It gives you a little bit more damage and I guess healing. I guess if you're a healer, of 10% is quite a bit, and it definitely helps push some progress probably when stuff first comes out. So it's definitely a good buff to have. Next on the list, I've got mage food. All right, all jokes aside, serious note, people to this day will still ask. They still ask for mage food. They do. They still ask. Uh, it's something people want, some people need, and it definitely helps us. You know, I don't know if it helps us keep a raid spot anymore, but definitely helps. And the next thing on the list is bloodlust or heroism, I guess if you're Alliance. Um, it's a big boy button. You slap it, the damage comes flying out. Everybody loves to see big numbers. Everybody loves to see the damage. It definitely helps with raid encounters, pushing through phases, and helps with Mythic plus dungeon bosses, burn them down and things like that. So Bloodlust is definitely a good thing to have as a mage. The last thing I've got on my list for PvE is Remove Curse and Spell Steal. Remove Curse was added back in Battle for Azeroth. We got it back. So it's a way for you to help your group, most importantly, help your healer. That way your healer's not wasting globals on dispelling curses, even if they could dispel a curse. Uh, it just helps your group that much more. Spell Steal, you can Spell Steal beneficial buffs that increase your damage. You could spell steal things that decrease damage on the mobs, things like that. Just makes things die faster in these dungeons. It's a good way to help your group out. So those are the points that I have for PvE. Like I said, I'm no expert, but this is what I know from playing a mage and doing PvE stuff. So the damage lacks a little bit, but you make up for it with the toolkit that mages have between the CC, the buffs, the food, and talents and spells. So they're definitely in a really good spot for PvE right now. Could be a little better, could definitely be a lot worse, but they're pretty good. So next we're gonna hop into the PvP side of things. Now I'm gonna break this down into pros and cons, a little more detailed than the PvE side of things. So for the pros of PvP mages, I've got great CC. You know, you've got Frost Nova, you've got Dragon's Breath, Polymorph. You know, you've got so many things to CC people with. It's really, really insane. They have really good crowd control. So the next thing is they have, like I said, you know, Frost Nova. So the next thing is they have really amazing snares and slows. You've got Cone of Cold, you've got Frost Nova, Ice Nova, Pet Nova. You have Slow as Arcane. Yeah, I mean, there's just Mages just it's insane the amount that snares have in BFA right now. It's honestly it's quite sickening to be honest with you, just how insane mage snares are, and that's coming from a mage. So it's good for us and it's bad for us. You know, it's a how would you say that? Double-edged sword, I guess you could say. Um, Third thing I have on the pros list is great burst. You know, mages have really good burst damage. You know, windows open in arenas, you got a burst window, take it, you usually can kill. Same thing in battlegrounds, you know, flag carriers running across or something, burst them down, dead. They have really great burst damage. Uh, the next thing they have is really, really great mobility. I mean, if you're playing, you know, double blink, you've got two blinks. Um, you know, you've got things to get away. If you're fire, you have scorch with the frenetic speed or whatever you call it, where it gives you, you know, faster speed. Um, Arcane has what's it called? Chrono Shift, I think it's what it's called, where you use Arcane Barrage and it gives you a sprint for a little bit. So it definitely have a lot of mobility things to get you out of trouble. That's for sure. Next thing, Spell Steal. You know, I talked about it in the PvE portion of things, but Spell Steal definitely helps in PvP as well. You can steal freedoms, you can steal hots, you can steal a lot of things. And I mean, it's definitely useful in PvP. It definitely chunks your mana a lot, and it makes it hard on you a lot more in PvP than it does in PvE. So spell steal is definitely a plus to have. Last thing I have on the pro list is great defensives. Now, what do I mean by great defensives? Well, mages have ice block. If you're frost, you have two ice blocks. Uh, you know, you have your barriers. If you're arcane, technically you have a spammable one, but I'm pretty sure that's already been taken care of. So, fire, you have your blazing barrier, and then frost, you have your, you know, your other barrier. So, definitely some things that help you. Temporal shield is a really important one too, because it heals you, but you have to survive. You can't pop it too late because you'll die. And it's also spell stealable and dispellable, so you gotta watch out for that. But those are the pros that I have for PvP mages. Cons that I'm gonna talk about are mostly personal opinion and just what I think is wrong with mages so far. So we have lack consistent damage as the first point. What I mean is, yes, we have great burst, but in between burst windows, our damage is laughable, really laughable. Can we kill outside of those burst windows? Yes, but I mean it's because we need help. You know, that's why most of our teams in arenas are rogue mage teams. The rogue helps do a lot of things for you to be able to do your little bit of tickle damage. So yeah, it would definitely help to get a little bit more consistent damage. We did get it buffed a little bit in like a hot fix or whatever. It was like 5%, which helps a little, but it's definitely not where I think it should be, and it could definitely be better. So we're gonna move on to the second point that I have, and it's CC snare bot in arena. So literally, like I was talking about, in arenas, we are a CC snare bot. We use snares to literally slow the entire team. That way, nobody can move. You hit them with Blizzard and it slows them. You hit them with Ice Nova, Frost Nova, Pet Nova, one of those three, which is ridiculous to me. Um, Cone of Cold slows them, and that's why you play with pretty much a rogue, because then your rogue can just pick off the slow moving targets. That's pretty much the way mages have to play in arena right now if you're Frost, and it's definitely not fun, but it is playable. So my third point is we are the only class in the game without a stun. Now I know this is the point that I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for, because we have so many snares, we have polymorph, we have all kind of crazy CC already. The reason why I think we need to get our stun back is because stuns are so powerful in this game that it gives you your kill opportunity. If you don't have a stun, you're gonna die. If you're in a stun, you're gonna die. So, every other class has a stun except mages. How do you fix that? If you gave us a stun back, take one of our novas away. Reduce the slow effect on our frost stuff. Make it to where it's way less impactful from your frost novas and your snares, your slows, whatever you want to call it. They're like at 30 something percent right now on these slows. Drop them down to like 15-20%. Cut them in half. Give us a stun back. That'll actually help us survive. That's my 2 cents on that. And we're gonna go on to the next point, which is struggle in 1v1s. Now obviously the game's not meant to be focused around duels and 1v1s, right? But mages severely struggle in 1v1s. And like I said, it's because we have no stun. And our consistent damage is rough. So the only way to win is in a burst window. The only way to win is a burst window. So what better way to have a burst window extended than by having a stun? If you have a stun, it can add to your CC chain a little bit and give you a little more time to throw out some damage and possibly get a kill. But because you don't have that, you're literally a glass cannon. And I know that term's been thrown around for years, and I know that's what mages are, but it is really bad right now. So we struggle pretty hard in 1v1s. It's difficult. You get caught in a stun, you're dead, because Blink doesn't take stuns off anymore, because you have to play Shimmer, because there's so much mobility, especially from melee. So either tune down some mobility issues or give us a stun back, and we'll figure it out. The last thing that I have on the cons list is a big one for me. Offensive cooldowns are dispellable. So that means our Icy Veins, or Ice Form, if you talent it, our Combustion, and I'm pretty sure Arcane Power as well. All three of our big boy buttons are dispellable. I see a problem with that because we're only effective in burst windows. So the only time we're effective, you're going to take it and make it dispellable where we're not effective again. Our consistent damage is terrible. So the one thing that gives us that burst is those cooldowns that are spell stealable or just flat out dispellable. You run into a shaman or a priest, you're done. They're going to strip it. And I severely think it's a problem. And I'm going to catch a lot for this one too, because, oh, well, you just want to cry about things. No, it's seriously an issue. Pally wings aren't dispellable anymore. Now, it was a lot of fun back in the day stealing pally wings and blowing them up with it. and I could see their frustration. So if they can get theirs to where they're non-dispellable, why can't mages have theirs non-dispellable? Because I'm pretty sure majority of all classes' major cooldowns are non-dispellable except for mages. I feel like that should be changed. Now, how do you change that? Well, I mean, if you make it non-dispellable, either keep it the same kind of uh, CD, or maybe lower it a little bit and increase sustained damage to make up for it. But something has to be done about it because there's nothing worse than running in for your burst moment, getting dispelled down, and you're literally a potato. But it is what it is. Those are my points. Those are my pros, cons on the PvP side of things. And pretty much, guys, I'm going to throw these up on the screen for you just to show you real quick so you can get a visual aid. These are what I think so far. These are my points. These are my pros, my cons. This is what I think of mages so far. Definitely not in a bad place because the majority of people leading on the 3v3 ladder in PvP are rogue mage teams, so obviously mages aren't bad. They're just in a rough spot. PvE mages, they're doing good in damage, and they definitely have a good place to sit. So, state of mages so far, we're definitely doing good, but some things could definitely be improved upon. And I'm really excited to see what happens with 8.1 and into the future. I have really no complaints so far, and it looks promising, guys. It really does. So, with all this being said, we're going to bring this to the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed my insight, my comments, my knowledge, somewhat knowledge, I guess. Um, and I hope you grab some kind of nugget of information out of here. And that's going to do it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. If you really enjoy the content and you really want to see more of it, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me. It means a lot to me, does a lot for me, and I hope you guys really, really enjoy the content, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace.